You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
Motion made, seconded. Anything further on those? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Make a motion for a non-public meeting 1 and 2 on December 4th.
Second. Motion made, seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion made and seconded. Anything further, Michael?
Yeah, we have new additional abatements,
Abatements.
these are for campers and with local light property, so we recalculated, we supplemental ones, but nothing exciting.
Something I should add.
Yeah, we just a couple different numbers on the abatement.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public input. Moving online.
I think I have one thing.
Mike, come on.
Penny did fix the front door there a couple weeks back. So there's no more crack in the three panels. And the stop that's been done and of course the building has been done quite a while ago. So
Great.
I think we answered the should I say repairs that needed to be done.
Very good. Save the town a lot of money.
And we can't see the street from here anymore, so it's.
Oh, that's good.
We can't see the street through the door anymore, so, nice.
So we just gotta figure out how we're gonna.
that. It took them about 4 months to figure out how to do that.
Anyone could, he could.
So we just gotta go back to the painting next year, right?
Well, I think so.
Yeah, next year we'll look at it.
It's, you know, it's maintenance and every 7 or 8 years, you gotta think about that maintenance if you want to keep the building in good shape. And I wish there's something I could do to help you with that, like you.
I think it's scheduled on the CIPC schedule.
Nice.
Great. Fire Chief Eric Mattson. Come on up closer to the microphone.
Eric, hey, how you doing today?
Good.
Tonight.
So I sent you guys, I sent it with Michael.
Yeah, for the
There's some equipment.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
it was cameras, right?
So some thermal imaging cameras. And some lift bags.
Eric, is there any other source for lift bags?
We did contact a few of them. We got some, they're all in the same ballpark of price. Unless we go to like a catalog style company and then the price jumps up pretty drastically. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure if the salesman get better pricing, but they're all right in that same ballpark of price. So, and that's why we decided to go with this company because they're already one of our vendors now. So it would stay with somebody we know, we trust. We've had good dealings with them. They buy some gear from them.
Great. So, what's the life expectancy?
Somewhere around 10 to 15 years.
Depends on usage.
Depends on usage as well, right. The ones we have are in that 10+ year range right now. So that's why we've been looking at them.
So you're just replacing the bags or is it the whole system?
It's the whole system. Yeah, it's because it comes with lines, you know, they changed the couplings to them and so yeah. And then the thermal imaging cameras, we found out that they've gone to 2 main manufacturers. And it sounds like even those are, I don't know if they're joining, somebody's buying somebody, I'm not sure the full the salesmen weren't really too sure either. They just know a lot of things are moving and thermal energy cameras are all coming down to the same, almost the same company supplying. So, right now we've spoken with this salesman, and they have a very good deal, through the end of this month. It's gonna knock a few $100s off each one. So,
The existing ones are,
the existing ones we have are somewhere in the 10-year range. They don't make them anymore. That company went out of business, bought up by one of the other two. And they don't make the batteries for them anymore. Which, after about 6 months of trying to research and look and see who made them, where we could get them, nobody could find them for us, so. That's what kind of drove us to this.
don't really have a choice.
Right. So. And then the third large kind of purchase is the cardiac monitors. Did get in contact with them. They gave us a buyout of 13. I grabbed the wrong paper here, sorry. Oh, this is
13,
13, so yes. And that pays off both monitors, and then we own outright at that point. They're still minimally used right now. They're in great shape. No major issues with them, so.
So what did we do, lease them, you
We
saying?
leased them before, yes.
So now we have that option to pay it off?
Yes, and
The lease
that
was
lease
up.
ran up beginning of the year, and I missed it and they missed it. Contacting us, so we just continued to pay the lease, and that's why the non-disposables of my budget went a little haywire. So. But we've spent almost in that non-disposable, we've spent already almost that much money.
So this is just buying out the end of the lease.
So this is just gonna buy out the end of the lease.
How long do they think they'll last after that for the updates?
Should be fine, you know, it should be able to get another 5+ years out of them. You know, when we did purchase them the first time, when we leased them to begin with. At that point, you know, it's like all of them, they keep trying to tell us they're gonna have the latest and greatest, it's coming. You know, the next season, well, we haven't seen the next season yet, so. But. So these here are, you know, as best can be expected.
Do we have an option to release them if we didn't wanna buy them out? Do we have an option now
I
to
haven't looked
say?
into it, but yeah, there's always that too.
I'm just afraid that these are gonna be outdated in time and that we buy them out and then they could be outdated. Is it in our best interest to spend 14,000 and maybe just start a new lease with the new? I'm just throwing it out there to think about, that's all.
What do the new ones go for then?
As far as the lease, I'm not 100% sure. I know I looked them up online, they're in the $25,000 range. Each, yes.
And we have two,
We have 2 of them.
so we're gonna get two that we think will go for 5 years for 14,000 versus setting up a new lease for 50,000.
The other thing, for a lease, you have to have a warrant article, so we'd have to keep paying the $1,000 a month.
It's 1,000 or so, yeah, just a little over 1,000. Yeah.
Dumb question, but did we get credited for the extra payments?
No.
It's basically, we're just continuing to pay as if it's not reducing our payout.
Right, it didn't really pay out.
Would our payout in January have been this amount?
Probably somewhere close to it, yeah.
How many months did we miss it by? It's in January.
Because when we were going through the transition, and it came up.
As far as the funding source, is this money that you're already counting on for the station?
No, so it could be either way. I mean, initially when he asked me about these, I was like, oh, I got plenty of the money in the budget, but we figured, probably should have a discussion. But I mean, there is plenty of money in the budget for these, if that's.
For the cardiac monitors,
Really for all of it.
for all of it, yeah.
Or we have the Kathleen Nuttall donation, which we've used a portion, but still have a good amount left, so that could go towards, like you said, the station or other things.
We could use it out of the budget, that'd be great. Save the others.
So it's a total for everything is 22,000, right? Is that what I say?
For the
We're talking about the cameras and the lifts.
The cameras in the air, yeah.
Huh?
43.
44, well, I had 45.
45.
We have 22 for the cameras, 8,200 for the lift bag.
Oh, there's 3 cameras at that price.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the price as a single.
yeah, no, that's 3 of them.
So that's
Wow.
30.
So I take it this was all planned out and that we were gonna buy these anyways, right? That's why it's in the budget.
The cardiac monitors, well, was it initially, I think we thought we'd do it on the lease, but we just figured this is the way to go.
Did that mention CIPC? I don't think it was put in there as something that wasn't actually in the plan, but could be.
Might be right.
Because previous, I think it was.
So.
So we really don't have any choice. We need this stuff and we have to get it, right? So. I'm willing.
You always have a choice.
What was that?
We keep paying $1,000 a month for the
Yeah, but
monitors.
it's
75.
not smart. It's, to me, what you guys answered me, it's a smart thing to do. No.
Census.
Motion.
It's coming from the budget, I think consensus is fine.
Consensus? Yeah. 3 for 3.
Okay. When I think of a contract he could sign, we did that every day.
Have anything else for us?
Before the order, Mr. Chairman, one on the board is,
To approve the purchases of 3 cam,
okay, not that much, but out of the budget or
Out of
from the.
budget.
Thank you.
The only other thing I had was asked to bring up our coverage. So right now, at least during the days, there are some gaps here and there, with some Fridays that we miss people. As far as any other on-call coverage, usually I have Deputy Burke and Deputy Scancy cover a couple nights a week. And we do, you know, we're constantly in contact with each other. You know, whether we're gonna be around town, not around town, available, unavailable. You know, gives each other a heads up as to what's going on, who's around. Type of thing. It's been kind of a busy, crazy few months. Been a assistant chief change, his father just passed. Norm's mother passed during the summer here, so there's been some spans there that they've been out of service for a little while. But all goes well in a year, we're gonna be back at it, get the band back together and be tight with this, so.
How are we doing with recruitment and bringing people back?
It's been slow. It's been pretty slow. We've got a couple of people that have said they want to join, but we've been one gentleman, he hasn't contacted Megan back yet. She's reached out to him a few times, so I don't know if his schedule is really gonna allow him to do that. He works a second shift. We did just have another gentleman dropped off an application today. So hopefully this, you know, these signs and such out there are starting to work.
I think we got 2 applications last week when HR was out, so. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
those all got to you yet, but I don't know if those are counted in your list or
I
something.
had one of them, I hadn't seen the second one, but yeah. So,
That was good to see too.
yeah. Megan, I was talking with Megan and she's putting in an ad in the shopper. Supposed to run online on their online side of it for 4 to 6 weeks, I think she said, and then a couple weeks in the shopper. We'll see how things play out there. You know, hopefully there's some feedback from that.
Good.
Any per diems or anything for the weekends or for the weekends?
Weekends are a little slim. We do have one per diem girl. She works a lot of Saturdays. So we're at least covered there to a point. You know, at least maybe one person out on the medical calls and such during the day. So it's a start.
That spotted dog went away. How's the software transition going?
So far, so good. Yeah, I think we have everybody up and running on it. Seems all right. It's just a learning curve right now. You know, trying to learn something new. So.
Never fun and easy, right?
Right, no, right,
Even if
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
work
exactly,
effort.
so. It's never easy, I mean, it's the same company bought a dog, so, the one we're using now, so. It's a lot of the same stuff, but just a little different format.
County has a grant writing person, actually 2 of them, so. If you need to have, contact that for a resource, you can.
Yeah,
The other thing is they offer courses. To teach people how to write grants.
Yep.
And walk them through it with their grant. So just an FYI.
yeah, no, that's good to know. I do know I've spoken with a few of them, a few people from the county, and I don't wanna dismiss it, but they'll give you assistance when they can, so to speak. They're not kind of, you know, they're not dedicated to you.
Right.
So, but they will help. They will help, absolutely.
Especially if you got the course.
Yeah.
If you have a grant you're going after,
Yep.
you can do that through the course.
Yep, no, that's good to know, good resource, yeah.
What's Dave rep at work?
No, that's the county delegation.
Oh, that's true. But you have to be a rep to get on it. For the job.
Eric, thank you. All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric.
It's right on the line. That one, but, where is our next guest? Not here yet, I guess.
Weber Hill Slope Stabilization Project update and change order.
This is a continuation of our discussion yesterday, or last week.
Are they working there now?
I believe they have that. I don't know if they were there today, but I think because of the rain, maybe not today, but they were earlier in the week.
Next week should be cooperative.
Yeah, we're gonna have a site visit with I don't know if it's the same guy that was there at Veterans Day or someone from that company, I think, tomorrow. So they're gonna try to move it with the weather, but I guess he already booked his flight or whatever, so it must have been someone different, because that guy was only in New York. But so we're gonna go forward with that tomorrow morning, so have a site visit. So these are better looking numbers than the kind of worst case scenario we were looking at before.
About half, less than him.
So. looking at you, we're at 325,000 instead of 500 or 600,000, so. Yeah. I think we're going in the right direction. If weather cooperates and it goes smoother, it might still be less than this with any luck. Hopefully get back on track to get it done. Hopefully within a couple months.
We have priced you last week.
Correct. I think we're gonna probably fund that from additional FEMA funds that have come in that haven't accepted yet, so we'll probably have a public hearing on that meeting on the 30th. So we'll authorize spending of that, but yes, it was authorized to sign the change order.
So last week we met, and we talked about all these increases, and now you've got them kind of
They're a little
pulled
more-
in a little more.
Yeah.
And they were on the temperature of the, keeping those bags thawed out and all that. And you dropped them to 98,000 and 80,000, I see, right?
Right, I think the 80 was
Which-
maybe 190 last time, so.
Yeah. So you gave us those big numbers, so we'd be excited about this, is that what happened?
The big numbers, but I didn't have to. Well, it's just as they continue to
Yeah, I get it.
see more of the picture, they can narrow it down, so. Yeah, I think the big change with what they learned about how warm they had to keep the bags and for
Right.
how long, so they learned more about that.
Yeah,
That's the biggest change, I think.
yeah, once they get in the ground in place, we don't care if they freeze.
Bob,
It's definitely it's moved over there. I go by it every day. It was kind of wet for them today, but they have been working on the lower part and working on putting stone, whatever, to looks like they're filling in the bottom and working that more so it's less of a hazard now. So it's a good thing.
Be nice if we can put this to bed and look on, but. We thought the bridge with the dam was gonna be a big problem until we hit this.
anyone further? If not,
We'll have enough time for Josh to get here.
Josh is here. Solid Waste Manager, John Whipple. We already
Yes.
gave him authorization.
Yeah, just a little bit update.
That's one of the things you were.
Josh, you'd like to come sit next to me, you can. You got a nice.
Close as you can to that.
I got it all cleaned up here for you. Perfect.
Good evening.
Too bad. So this is for a request to purchase backup heat for the new building and the main building.
And the bathroom.
Yes, oh yeah. So for the new building, I got a quote for electric heat. And so that'll include a 4-foot, 6-foot, and then a 5,000 watt hanging heater. And that price is $3,900. So that'll cover if, say, our heater goes down, it'll give us time to be able to put steps in order to get them repaired. The burner doesn't like to start when it's too cold. So it'll provide us with a little extra time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for the main building, it's a propane heat backup. That'll be a 300,000 BTU unit. Same thing, it'll basically just buy us time to get the other one fixed. And so it's through LNG. That includes 420 gallon tanks for 480 gallons total. I'm estimating 650 to fill it. And the waste oil is still going to be our primary heat. This is just a fill-in, so typically the company can get to us within 2 days. Best scenario. Worst case, it's 3-4 days. So I don't see us getting a whole lot of use out of it, but you never know if something happens and they just can't get out to us in time. So the annual was 3,975. LNG was 12,563. They did not include a lift rental in the proposal, one of those things if we had to use it. So I estimated 1,000 for the lift rental, probably day or two, I'm not sure how long it would take them to put up. And then a 7% contingency, which would bring it all, the grand total to $18,738.12. Any questions so far before I?
Is there an emergency shut off? Inside or outside the building other than turning the tanks off?
Yep, yeah, they both have emergency shut-offs. Yep,
I'm just always leery when you have lifts and stacks of things and then you have a heater up at the ceiling.
yeah. And actually it's gonna work out good for the propane one because we've got our old existing home heating oil furnace that's hanging from the ceiling right now. And that thing hasn't worked in probably 7 years at this point. Dumped a bunch of money into it and just never properly ran. So I've been looking to actually get that taken down. What they're gonna do, proposing to do is to remove that old one and use the existing ductwork, so that'll save a little bit of money there and push it through the whole length of the main building. So it should keep both sides very well. Especially like January, that's my biggest worry. If it gets below 0 and then the heat goes down, the balers don't like to work. And even with the heaters on the compactors outside, the hydraulics just don't like to work when it's that cold out. And just the balers inside, I hate to damage a pump because we own those compared to the compactors, which is rented through waste management. And they provide all the maintenance and service for those, so.
We don't know nothing in that building that can reach him. I went there and looked. This up so high, he can't even reach him over the lips, there's nothing that can hit it.
You know.
I don't think we have to,
You'd be surprised.
I would be if they hit it.
Yeah, the tallest thing that we would typically bring through there is we've got the 12-foot overhead door on the compactor side, and the only thing really that tall that we bring through is one of the vertical balers, but to bring it in they have to put it on the side anyways and then flip it straight up and make it inside. So and our electric stacker only goes up 6 feet, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it basically just provide a security blanket, and right now I hooked up a wireless camera in the mechanical room for the boiler, and so I've got a thermometer on the wall so I can check it even if I'm out there. So say at night when it's cold out, I can see if it's locked out or not. And I've been working with Matt Beam Plumbing and Heating on getting the right adjustments for it, and they've been working with the vendor in Washington State on perfecting it really. Because it changes. At the beginning of the season, I put a bunch of home heating oil in it and then kind of diluted it with some regular waste oil. And so we had it set for that. And then once it drained all the home heating oil, it screwed up the adjustments. So then depending on how cold the oil is, what the feed rate is, the air compressor, it all has to kind of line up perfectly. And that's the one that likes kind of a thinner blend compared to a regular Energy Logic in the main building. That one pretty much will eat anything besides gear oil because that's still a little too thick for it. But we typically burn around 1,200 gallons a year, and the new boiler is actually really efficient, so we've only burned probably 3/4 of a tank. We just fill it as we go, triple filter everything when we get it. Residents write their names on the waste oil so we can hold accountability for it if there's something that shouldn't be in there. And then even the Matt Beam said we had a great blend going in there. There's no particles of stuff. I've been using paint screens, and so it's a really fine screen, so we're not getting any sludge or any buildup like that. So it should prolong the life of the burner at least. So the main building one has 2,200 hours on it right now, and that's 4 years old. And then our new boiler has 630 hours on it, and that's last October. So we've got some good use out of it so far, but even today it locked out on me and had to do a millimeter adjustment and reset it and fire it back up. So one of those things where you have to check it every time we add more oil to it, and kind of just listen. That's the best way to tell if it give the rumbling or how smooth it's actually running through the compressor. So that's the biggest thing.
what I learned from him is that it's very touchy and he really knows his stuff when it comes to listening to it. You know, I was standing there with them and you could hear it pop, and and he said, Jimmy, see how it's running smooth? I asked him to give me the tour because I saw it on the agenda, and I personally, I think what his goal is. The noise of it, he took me in that room that heated, he put a hole in the door, he put a camera on it, he's all over this, and I know it sounds like a lot of money, but I think in the long run, it's gonna be a great thing for them and their crew down there, if it's in the budget and that we can afford it, I think he's right on target what he's doing over there, I give him all the credit in the world that he gave me a great tour on it and explained everything to me, so. And I think with the piping that goes under the radiant
That's
heat,
my big.
that's his big thing, that he explained to me, say it goes down. And we have no backup system and we can't get a part of something, those pipes could freeze up, then they split, it's gonna cost us a lot more money, a lot more problems.
The radiant.
The radiant heat.
Because I don't want to see those reads.
Right, and these units are probably, I asked him, he'll run them once in a blue moon, but his main thing is he's gonna use that waste oil, right? And then this is just gonna be for backup.
Yep. And I think it might actually prolong the life because they heat does go down, and they can't get that for 2 days, and then they go to restart the pump, it's running 40-degree oil that's much thicker than what it's used to through that compressor, and then could plug the nozzle.
It's heated.
Yeah, so ensure that would be a easier startup when it does, and it doesn't change the adjustments or anything like that, so. And that was out of the remaining construction money, was it?
So it's another one like when we discussed with chief, we have a couple options, so we had 66,000 left on the main facility project that's still available. Or there's 101,000, which I consider improvements capital reserve fund, so it's really just they want to use the money that they had previously kind of put towards the project, or if they want to use that for, or keep that free for something else, or use it for something else, and then use the kind of recycling center dedicated funds, so it's really kind of a personal preference thing. I don't think he has it in his budget, though.
What's your preference on the invest money? Do you want to keep that for something else or?
Well, we'd already kind of earmarked it for this, for the facility, so I'd say maybe use that remaining amount, and then unless you can think of anything else that hasn't happened.
No, I think the only real thing was gutters, and that's something simple that I can get down the road. Maybe in the springtime and be able to get that up, and shouldn't take much at all or much of that, so.
Backside.
Yeah, it's why I'm back so wet right now, walking in and out of it. But other,
Trading the trucker hat.
yeah. But other than that, I think this will really cap off all the construction and all the work we've done so far, and really, I can't picture anything else after that besides burning the burn pit. That's really the last thing, but other than that, building wise and layout wise, we're in really good shape, so I think this will probably be the cap.
Couldn't even get a permit with all this rain.
Yeah, I know, I meant to try and find that number today, but too muddy out there. I'm trying to smooth it so it'll freeze nice and smooth instead of rub it out and trying to pick where I'm driving.
What's your preference on funding?
So it can come out of the money that we had for CIP, or it can come out of the money that we had put aside for improvements. The main construction of it, right? Which is 66,000, and then the other, we got 101.
Right.
Wouldn't you think it would be best to come out of that 66,000 instead of your CIP? And
Probably, yeah, because for next year, the CIP, the two main projects I want to focus on are the waste soil building and secondary bobcat. No. So that'll finish that side, and everything's kind of following itself and falling in place for the overall plan of updating everything and maximizing it, so.
In the first 20,000 from Invest NH. Finish the others.
Yep.
Consensus or?
Consensus sounds good, 'cause you already approved spending on the facility, so.
Okay.
So they should be investing.
Yep, and then that.
Hopefully 2-3 weeks, a month, they can get down. And Amer didn't wanna up, today was the last day for the 30-day quote, I was waiting on the LED, so. I'm thinking more likely Amer's gonna wanna get there before the first of the year, so they can keep their regular pricing. You already confirmed that. It'll be good till the first of the year, so I'm assuming they're gonna wanna get that right done, and then LNG, I'd assume probably 2-3 weeks, so should be moving right along with it.
Good.
So you'll be up and running for January. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. If not, we'll keep fighting the battle as we have been.
Can you watch that thermostat from Florida on the golf course?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got a nice thermometer in there and.
Watch it drop.
Yeah,
It's quite the rigging, I'll tell you. Pulling the door, the flap, and he opens that up with the air in, he knows the air intake and it was pretty ingenious, and he put the camera over the door.
Yeah.
Pretty ingenious, I was impressed. Very good job, Josh.
Yeah,
That place came a long way,
yeah,
came a long way.
still moving, but
And people are getting smarter in recycling, so we need a place like that.
yeah,
It's important to have that.
yeah, and people are doing great, so we
And you're looking at the money and everything, which is good. You're selling things to try to bring it back,
yeah,
you know?
and our solid waste is actually down this year, but between. Stuff we've been throwing away and cleaning out. The covered bridge boards, some of that stuff, so our numbers are kind of inflated because of that stuff, but. I'll get an estimate to kind of figure out what the weight is and then see the before and after to see how close we are. So I think we're at about 40%, 35%. I gotta get the final numbers for diversion rate. So that's pretty good. We're getting out a good chunk of stuff, and then plus shipping glass now and getting that out of there. We did 23.45 tons, so I picture we'll do that every 3-4 months and keep everything caught up, so should be in good shape.
Your lighting's working good?
Yep, Amer actually came a couple months ago and replaced both peak lights, and they eliminated the old, I don't even know what kind of lights they were. Big bulbs and ancient, never worked, so those are gone. Everything exterior is in good shape. Really the last thing is take down those old cameras and we'll be in good shape.
Are we open when it's dark out?
Yep, they're actually closing up right now. Yeah, so only get, it's really Wednesdays in the winter time that we deal with it, but with those new lights, we're just both compactors now. And the lights in the overhang have been working out great, so daytime we'll keep one on, one set of the lights on, and this time I will flip them both on, so place is glowing.
Yeah.
Can see it from space, they told me.
Probably some of those signs too.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Good job, Josh.
Thank you.
2025 town warrant review.
So I included a slightly updated version, just took out one of the articles that go forward this year and added on the petition article that we received, so the numbers stayed level, so it's good.
Now are you fleshing out the water study?
Yes.
Garbage or in fifth district, correct?
Yeah, the TIP committee was hoping to meet in this week, but we need to talk to bond council, and she was on vacation this week, so. Probably next Thursday will be our next meeting, so.
So what was Sly's question that we're gonna put it as an article, the tip? We
If
just
you look
don't
down through the warrant articles,
There's a
there's
couple of question
short
marks.
ones.
Yeah, short
It says
ones.
fifth district question mark,
Yeah,
water.
yeah, we're gonna have those answers soon, right?
Yeah.
We'll meet next week,
Yes, hopefully Thursday.
Thursday. And that might be our final meeting, right? We'll have the map all mapped out and everything.
Yeah, you think you have a copy of it?
I do, I love looking at it, so
You see the map? Do you want to see the map?
I don't see
You don't want to see it? Okay.
it's a very interesting map that we built.
Not too bad. but very-
Billy might wanna look at it.
Bisbee Park in it.
No Bisbee Park.
No, state forest in the TIF
It's
district.
just for the water system, we were talking about the map system of
I
the,
had a guy that wants to
You know.
build a
for the funding the water system ground.
It's,
Can't do it.
you could spend some money,
Gotta get-
upgrade the infrastructure,
Yeah, that's,
6.4 million
yeah,
to the water.
40% for good.
Does he want to build?
That's what it's gonna take. Gotta have water.
He wants it bad enough.
I don't think he wants it that bad,
And
because he can go somewhere else, huh?
And a new sewer plant.
And so.
Any other 2025 budget issues to follow up on?
Yeah, so one of the things we do. Usually as late as possible, when we're waiting to see where the budget is flushing out is factoring in. Employee wage increases, so we already dealt with the police department, when we talked about that budget, so. You can kind of just put that out of your mind, but it won't be impacting. This is your page 39. This packet. So what we try to do with our wage increases are based in two factors, so we do a merit increase, which is based on performance. It's usually a range, but we just budget based on the estimates, so the top performers might get more, other employees that are newer, have things to work on might get less. And then we also have a cost of living adjustment portion, which is across the board. The other factor with the merit is people are, depending on where they fall in the labor grade, might impact if they get the merit increase or not. So the last few, we try to match the cost of living portion to Social Security, or we use that kind of as a guidepost. Of the last few years, like 2023, that was at 8.4%, and we did a cost of living portion of 4.5%. 2024 was Social Security was 3.2, we did 1.5. So we've been falling a little bit behind on that. I think that's why we had to make some of these bigger jumps when we kind of realized that we've fallen behind in the market. So hoping maybe if we go back to trying to meet that Social Security cost of living percentage, maybe we can avoid having to do some of those other.
So that makes a lot of sense where we're in the situation that we're in, right? I mean, and that makes sense, you're gonna.
So I'm proposing we do the 2.5 to match Social Security for a cost of living, and then the 2.5 merit, so it'd be an average of 5%.
2.5 across the board.
Yeah, everybody would get.
Correct. Makes sense.
And so since it doesn't impact the police department, it's a smaller pool, each percentage of average increase, because it includes payroll and also the fringe benefits, Social Security, Medicare, retirement. Roughly is about 26,000 for each percentage.
So $1.30.
So on a total of 5% times 26,000, you're saying, right?
Overall picture, the capital is coming lower this year, raising the level this year, so that'll help offset because the budget is again between some of the fixed costs and can't control the compensation, insurances, you know, and again, a decent budget increase, more than we'd like, but we know the alternative is falling behind. So I think without that factored in, I think we're looking at like an 8% increase. Bill and I were talking, kind of Rubik's cubing, trying to take, well, what if we pull out the personnel factors, but really, did you have any more luck than that? Okay, no.
We've got it closer.
Yeah. Still was coming out, when I tried to take out the payroll lines, still was coming out about similar 7 or 8%. Some of it's the paving. I talked to Joe about, we were having the admin position, which isn't gonna be filled all year, maybe we could cut back the paving a little bit, knowing that we're gonna have the money in the overall budget, and he was comfortable with that.
I know the last meeting we, updated the police because they were, really kind of low on the bottom of the bell for, pay. Shouldn't we also do that for maybe, fire and, public works to see where they are in relation to other communities in the area?
It's constant. We did some of that in the spring. And we'll probably be readdressing the STEP program this coming year. Okay. So
Now, we're starting to see the fire about there on, per diem or hourly basis.
yeah,
How do they need to be adjusted up over there?
what's that?
Do the fire department, the ones that are on per diem or get paid per hour?
Yeah.
Do they need to get boosted up a little bit to, help retain?
Yeah, probably, like you said, everybody probably needs it, so
Okay,
right now we're doing cost of living and merit. And then next year, we'll look at all the steps. And adjust across the board, well, maybe not across the board, but each individual step.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago, Chief, that we did a pretty big
Yeah,
adjustment?
yeah, like about 3 years ago, yeah.
But again, yeah, it's a constant struggle. And fire department, it's so hard to compare to really, every department is so different between. Combination, fully professional, different sizes, really makes it tough to. compare.
Big challenge we're up against at the police department and
Yes,
even
it
the
is.
fire, trying to get people, we got a big challenge ahead of us.
yeah.
The town's growing and we need service.
But, retaining people too, for sure. You get constant turnover is not good either, so again, you best not pick a little bit more to keep people.
Well, speaking on that, I was gonna address the board of selectmen tonight about, I think we should start thinking about having an exit interview. When someone leaves, I think we should bring them in here and ask them why. And what can we improve? I think we don't have that, and I think we start to need to pick up on that, and we maybe can learn from that. Why are you leaving? Is it something that the town could have provided that you would have stayed? And maybe we can improve on that part. So it's an exit interview, you know what I mean? When you're leaving, we do a little sit down before you leave instead of saying bye, and just ask why. Not to ask them to stay, but ask them what is the reason. So we do hear people's reasons, because lately we've been losing a lot of policemen and this and that. I think we should start to find out why. And I was gonna suggest that tonight, we're in public, it's something to hide. I was gonna suggest that maybe to the board that could do that.
Jimmy, I did that exit interviews when I was manufacturing manager. And it really helps you to not only, you may not retain that particular employee, but be pointing out issues within your organization. You can address those issues so it doesn't happen again.
That's right, and it might teach us why, what are we missing as selectmen, and what are we missing and why, and it might open our eyes to something that, you know, wow, we didn't see that, you know, and maybe we can improve on that. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I believe now we have dedicated HR, Megan's been doing those, I believe.
Megan does them.
I was gonna say.
HR, do you wanna have it happen here with us, or
It was, oh,
the exit interview? HR does it.
I believe she's been doing,
is that right?
Yeah, I think Sean's was doing it for a little bit too.
oh, Sebastian.
Yeah, it was Sebastian, sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that, I wouldn't know that, I mean.
Yeah, we can check with her, but if something the board wants to do, we can absolutely. Pair with that.
Well, if the board don't wanna do it, I'd like to sit in with Megan and when we see them exit, and then I can relay to you guys don't want. Just to hear out, you know, I just think it might be in our benefit. Not to sit there and take anybody stay, but to say, hey, why are you leaving? So we know, so.
I think
You do hear that's why people leave, you know. You hear all these reasons and you know, tell them some houses, well, yeah, right.
Yes, Bob?
I think she'd do a real good job on that. Any young lady that's likes Pittsburgh, New Hampshire is all right with me.
Administrative update,
Nothing at this time.
any new business, since I sit for everybody.
Yeah, we'll just stick right here. No, I couldn't come up with anything this time.
We're biting the apple for public input before a non-public session that's needed.
George.
Your last chance to speak tonight.
Oh, I'm good, I'm listening, I'm shutting my mouth and I'm opening my ears.
I'll give everybody that opportunity. And I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Just like, I'd like to at least make sure we discuss, not necessarily tonight, but next week, reviews. So we can get them on the agenda for January. So. Or early February, whatever.
Yeah, I thought we already, thought that was settled.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I thought we talked about it.
We
We haven't
did,
gotten set dates or.
oh, okay.
What's our normal, February?
Depends on the.
I don't have a normal.
Really. It was a little long last year.
What is Bill saying, push it up sooner than what you guys normally used to do in the past years?
It has varied, it really has, so a lot of times it was January, February, I think 2020 was probably June or something.
Well, yeah, that was an odd year.
So, but yeah, the HR coordinator was out last week, so we didn't make any progress, get ready for those, but yeah, it's just a matter of getting the forms ready and getting them out to you in the last year's one, so.
Are we changing the format?
We're open to suggestions, but I hadn't planned on it.
Oh, okay, well, we just had the forms.
Well, I'll just get the names and how many years they mentioned,
Yeah.
some stuff, get the goals on.
Oh, I do have something else, the rail trail, I went on that, last week to look at it. And as we were going down it, there's a big pothole in the middle, and I stopped with Jeremy and I said, you know, what's up with these potholes? And he said, well, Jimmy, we don't take care of it, the town doesn't, the state does, right? And he said, I had to hire somebody to come and hire contractors to come down, it's a pretty big pothole there, they got a cone in it where they go down with the bikes. So I said, oh, and he was telling me craziness about how much it costs to have them come and they fill it. But anyways, long story short, he said he had it all scheduled to be fixed, so. And as we were there, a bicycler come by and said, oh, I fell in that hole last week. I found it hard to believe, this is a big orange cone there, but anyways, I said, oh, we're gonna get it fixed, so. He went and showed me the bridge and we went, I did the whole trail, so I knew what the trail was. I got a call, yesterday from Jeremy, you guys know Jeremy, right? And he said to me that he ran into a situation where the contractor that they hired can't go out there. And there's one spot that probably would take, I have a picture on my phone, I sent it to Michael, size of that table, and it's a hole. And it's something big. So I went and I mentioned to Joe, if I get the selectman to agree to it, would you go? And he said, absolutely, Jimmy, I have no problem going to fill it so no one gets hurt. So I wanted to bring it to the board's attention and see if you guys would be all right. If I had Joe go out there with the guys and just fill it so nobody would get, you know, so. And Jeremy.
Wasn't out with Mike, but someone that works with.
Jeremy Evans, right?
Jeremy,
From the fire department.
Snowmobile club.
oh,
Now, Mike said that he had the snowmobile club volunteering to fix some of the washouts, right?
Correct.
And you saying that they couldn't go out there for why? You know, it's Joe. You know. He can do it, right? Sure. I mean, I just don't want to get in the middle of something. If Mike has something in the works and we're going around him. It's not.
I'm
gonna
saying
be
that
great.
Michael doesn't have it in the works. I'm
He
saying
told
it's
us he
Jeremy.
did. He told us, what, a month ago?
Well, and you talked to Jeremy about, is it different, yeah,
This is totally different.
those were some of the bigger washouts.
This is just one in particular hole that developed where the culvert is and it's right in the center. All the other big projects are washouts toward the sides. The trail is fine, but this is just one area and Jeremy called me and said, could he just throw some dirt in it for us for the time being, so we could get through that.
I'd still like to run it by Mike Walzer. And let him go through the natural process if we could.
So how does that work? You're gonna go and call Mike, and then Mike will say, we can do it, and Joe will do it?
Just say Mike, Jeremy. And you. And. Could he have Joe fix it or? Do whatever he needs to do to get it fixed. This is where the micromanaging thing comes in, because too many books roam the
I
city.
think you're making it that way, to be honest with you. It's just putting a pile of dirt in a hole in the trail rail. And I'm not micromanaging at all. I'm just saying that that hole's been there a long time and somebody's gonna get hurt. And Joe turned around and wants to dump some dirt there. Okay, whatever you guys wanna do, that.
Just let Mike do it, because
You
he's
sure?
in charge of the trails, so.
Yeah.
In this area.
Point of order, I have the minutes from the Rail Trail Advisory Committee that met last week. And they talked about the washouts and who was doing what.
Right, but this is something different, they said. This is not a washout per
Right.
se, it's just
It's a hole.
It's a sinkhole.
Yes,
It's a sinkhole.
yes. He has that as well on here.
So in order to move it forward, can we just have Michael call Michael tomorrow and get an update and then let Jim know so he.
If
can let
Joe's
Jeremy
okay
know.
with it, I'm okay with it.
No, if you feel that I'm not supposed to be involved in that, that's fine with me. All I was trying to do is help. I went on a tour of the trail rail so I could learn it. As you know, and that popped up in front of me and I was asked for help, so I just thought I was helping, that's all of it. If I'm
Right.
going out of line.
All I'm saying is just. Have Mike take care of it.
See, I didn't know Mike was here. I'm thinking Jeremy seemed like he was pretty powerful on that trail rail. Jeremy seemed like the guy. He got the key to all the gates. He got the fire truck. I figured Jeremy was a big part of this trail rail, so I thought he was the guy. Now you're telling me he isn't the guy, it's somebody
He's
else.
snow riders, right?
He's one of the guys, and if there's anything that has too many guys that are somewhat in charge of it, it's the rail trails, believe me, so.
Hmm.
I think just, I think it's a good solution, it's just making sure we don't get someone who knows how to do it by accident trying to help. Because we've done it before on
I get it.
not different things, not necessarily this, but.
So can you get back to Jim tomorrow?
So instead of asking Joe or telling Joe to do it, just tell Mike, and let Mike. Walzer take care of it.
Yeah.
Yes, Bob DeRoche,
I got the perfect solution, you know.
Pittsburgh.
No, have the rails trail, call Joe and tell him where, put a load of dirt.
I think Joe wants to hear that he's got permission from us.
And then we'll let the rails trails follow, spread the dirt.
Exactly.
They actually be different, to rails specifications, doesn't it?
There you go. That train's coming. Any non-publics?
Yeah, one for reputation, see?
C.
Oh, C, not A.
Do we make them adjourn the meeting first? No, I'm gonna move into non-public under C.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Walker, Augusta.
I
Thank you.